and mobilize, organize, and strategize. I want to commend the people who initiated that, or if the person are on their own, rope them in. Have them lump up with UWP, that artist there. Let me commend that artist. We need some bouillon artists to sing about the ills of Dominica as well. The next thing, Matt, I want Dr. Fountain and the UWP people. When they see the bipartisanship, Matt,
yep,
they need to explain to the common, Matt, the brains of the country have divorced the body. So when you talk about bipartisanship, I want to commend that strategy. I love it. Matt, let me just give a quick definition of bipartisan. Okay? Let me see.
You can just say working together with some other groups, yes.
Yeah, cooperation and agreement between two opposing political parties, especially in a two-party state, to find common grounds and mutual cooperation on common ground on issues and whatever and programs and all of that. Matt, that is, Matt, you already said trap for birds. Matt, you never make a banzai in your life you're talking about.
Boy, you know what's Poison and Blackbird I chase already?
Poison, Penway, and Siki, and
of course.
That is lovely. And keep pressing on Fountain and his crew, UWP. That bipartisanship is a net. But be careful, or you do not get roped or lumped in like a government of national criminality. That's what the Prime Minister's format, what you can remember, what was it? A government of national what?
Unity.
Unity of one, Matt. Can you help me?
He said unity.
No, unity, it means criminality. A government of national. I hope all you don't leave us high and dry by roping and lumping all yourselves with a government of national criminality. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon to you. Blessings. Good afternoon to you. Let's take a few more calls. Hello. It's 1:57, 18 seconds. Yes. Good afternoon. Matt. Yes, I'm here.
Matt, I want to tell Isaac, that Joseph Isaac there, I want to tell, when you don't get visa for America, I hope you will go to China and work. Because I don't hear nobody, no doctors go in China and look for work. They like to run America. So Isaac, dump with.
It's more telephone calls. Hello, yes?
Good afternoon, Mr. Pelji. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Mr. Bellet, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for taking my call. Mr. Pelji, listened to the response to the Prime Minister on the matter. And if you remember, a few years back, I warned Dominicans that the business I do, and we're able to hire Dominicans to work in the agricultural sector. Once you remember, Kelly, people used to go to the U.S., farmers to help with apple picking, to help with sugarcane and work in industry in agriculture. Banned from this program. And some people said that I was being political. But today they're realizing some of this. I've been talking to them, warning them that this passport selling might get us into bigger trouble. And it's unfortunate because I can't even get Dominicans anymore on this program because from that program where Dominicans could go to the farm and do the agricultural seasonal crop harvesting or planting in the U.S. They can go to Canada, some other countries, but Dominica has been blackmailed from that. From the time that they caught a few people with Dominican passports who were trying to enter the country illegally and who have had bad records after sending contracts to some countries that was in conflict with the U.S. at the time. My question now is this, listen to the Prime Minister respond to the matter. Is it because that Dominica and Antigua are the two strongest allies of ALBA in the OACS Islands? Why Dominica and Antigua, those restrictions have been given?
Well, I also heard too that maybe Dominica and Antigua may have the largest Chinese embassies as well. That has been suggested as well.
Well, here's the other question. Is it also true that Dominica has the highest population of passports sold, or highest sold to diplomats who were not naturally born in Dominica? Because I saw some of those questions, Matt. I saw some of the questions and some of the credentials they have to give. So I'm asking, what the questions that were asked and the work they had to prepare, credentials of people who are currently ambassadors of Dominica with diplomatic passports. I mean, again, I'm asking a question here. I'm asking, is it because, or maybe there's way too many Dominicans, too many people out there carrying Dominican diplomatic passports who were not born in Dominica? And some of those people, diplomatic passports from Dominica, were not born in Dominica. They don't have any real serious criminal background record that could hinder that issue. Could it be, I'm asking, this recently oil tanker that was intercepted by the U.S., were Dominicans involved? Or is it true, I'm asking, that the crew said that some of that oil is exchanged to Dominican Antigua from Venezuela, and these are their two main importers of oil in the OAS? I'm asking those questions. I'm asking questions here. Or is it true? Or again, I'm asking a question. Is it true that those credentials that were supposed to be given with the time frame asked by the U.S. government, that enough information wasn't given, including people who may, and again, that's the question here, who may have got themselves in trouble recently as Dominican passport? These are the questions when we have the press conference that need to be asked. Because if you have a child that you've been warning the child, when you go out with your friend, and I told you to come back at 9 p.m., if you be back at 9 p.m., you'll get one last warning, and if you don't, you will be spanked. And if the child continues to disobey the law, the time when that child comes in, like back in this master especially for good parents, we will get spanked. So somebody must have been playing bad boy, maybe, and thinking that they can get away with it. So these are questions, but let me tell you this. I can only say so much on air of what I can ask or know, and put it this way. There are some of these questions I ask. We want to know the reasoning behind them, because when you go into this thing, because Matt have done it on a smaller level, where credentials of people that we are bringing to the country to work for us, and we have to have full control of them. And it is exactly the same thing of the U.S. ask questions, or when you give a passport, these are the questions they ask you. So it's not a significant difference from companies in the U.S. who bring in employees in other countries. We can bring employees for a lot of countries, but Dominica is not part of it anymore. And I've been telling the people this for a very long time, and they've been political. Interest of Dominica, and I think these questions must be answered. And just like in UK, we were told one time, I think we were told by the government that they're going back to UK, and in a few months everything will be okay. The restriction will be lifted. Mr. Petty, has the restriction been lifted from the UK?
No restriction. It has not been lifted. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, it has.
You take care.
All right, take care now. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. How many years ago the US or the UK imposed visa restrictions, and we've been saying we're going to fix it, we're going to fix it, we're going to fix it, and it continues. Dominica, good afternoon to you again.
It's a St. Lucia. I just heard you say something about class trees. I think it's a St. Lucia. If it's a mistake I made, you could correct me, but let me say this. You see all the politicians who got the people in the problem that we have in right now in the Caribbean, they are the ones should face them indignities, man. See, like when you see they get on a plane and then claim that they're diplomat. I know a guy who don't care about their diplomacy. Right here, sitting in the White House, right? And the question the man asked you if they said that same speaker, man. You should play that old broke down speaker song by Checo for the people. Yeah, scratchy speaker. Now he don't let people say what they have to say when they're in the parliament. And he's in bed with the criminals who have Dominica in the state that is in. The same Joseph Isaac. Okay? All he was doing is singing for his supper, man. Because most of them, that's what they do. I told you a long time ago, Dominica have a lot of traitors, and you must look at ones who are very close to what they claim liberation country, but soon as somebody puts some money in their face, they betray the people. So let some of them get caught traveling and put them aside, man. This is what I hope happened to them and not the regular people. I don't like wish nobody bad, but it's your actions, man. Your actions will put you where you belong when the right person catch you, because there's no reason for Dominica people to suffer because of Roosevelt Skerrit and his cohorts discretion, man. I can't say no more than that. That's it. Man, they don't sell passports. Say Van Yoka Van. They don't. All right?
Do we have a call on the line here? Hello? Yes? Oh, sorry. $2.26.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, it's amazing to me that Dominicans on Facebook actually blaming the U.S. government. The U.S. is going to take care of the U.S. So that means that Dominica government should take care of Dominicans. You have these ignorant people, you listen to them say, oh, I don't need to go to the US. Look, I saw a thing, even Norway putting restrictions. Norway, which Dominicans you know that going to Norway? Very, very rare do you hear Dominicans going to Norway. But yet still, they put a ban or restriction, whatever they put on us. And then you have these ignorant people who sit or call other radio stations and talk about, oh, we don't need to go America, and blaming the American government. These people have to protect themselves. So if were given, what do you, and nothing was done about it. What do you expect these people to do? What, Skerrit so precious that nobody can take any action against his country? This is the problem with Dominicans. Our eyes really, we're walking with our eyes wide shut. Because you cannot tell me, I'm sure these people gave warnings. America doesn't just do things without giving warning. I'm sure they were warned. Now you have the PM, he have to send a diplomatic letter to the US to find out why. Like seriously, I guess with Dominicans, the letter going to be walking from Dominica to the United States. So it have to cross seas and everything. Walking. I mean, come on, people. All in that eyes not open. But don't worry, Skerrit will just put something. Christmas coming, more ham going to flow, more red packets going to flow. And guess what? Just going to go quiet after a while. He doesn't care. Skerrit don't care about anybody but himself. His children are U.S. citizens. He's, from what I heard, sure how true it is. His wife is a citizen. I'm sure, unless they take their diplomatic passport, and even if he has Saudi Arabia, he has China, he has all Norway, he have other places to go. So I guess Skerrit don't care about anybody, man. And it's time Dominicans start caring about themselves. We can put out how much whatever, unless we don't hit the streets, unless we don't take action against. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing the people the opposition, I'm not talking about one opposition, the oppositions of Dominic calling for Skerrit's resignation. Seriously? Years all you calling for Skerrit. Skerrit don't even fart on all you. Skerrit just blow shoulder when he but chuckle. All you calling for is resignation. How many times all you call for Skerrit resignation on even worse things, and Skerrit never even give all the time of it. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about, oh, let us call for his we calling for his resignation. Wait there. Wait there.
Then the United Kingdom, and now the United States.
So you said it was first Canada, right? Then the United States.
Agreed, and it was Canada, and then the United Kingdom, and now the United States. In less than 2 weeks, because of the reckless behavior, greed, and uncaring actions of the Roosevelt-Skerrit administration concerning the CBI program, thousands of Dominicans will be denied entry into the United States of America. Students looking to further their studies at U.S. universities will be forced to go elsewhere. No more Labor Day, sadly, for some to travel to New York City. Families separated, unable to travel for funerals and graduations and other such activities. Medical care will be denied to some. Vacation, family reunions, all of these will be curtailed. And it may get worse, because the review of the US policy is expected at the end of 6 months. And if no measures are taken by this government to clean up the CBI program, a partial ban could very well become a full. Dominicans will not be able to travel at all to the United States. Thanks to Prime Minister Roosevelt-Skerrit for refusing to listen when the alarm was raised over 15 years ago. In fact, when I first pointed to the shortcomings of the due diligence process and the sale of our passports to crooks and criminals going back to 2009, I was accused of being unpatriotic and of destroying the country's image. In addition, I was sued by no one less than the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt-Skerrit, in Roosevelt-Skerrit v. Thompson Fontaine. But as proof of the excesses of the program came to light, that lawsuit mysteriously disappeared from the court's calendar, as though someone's sin hand had deleted the files. The Prime Minister had 15 years to finesse, yet he did nothing. Instead, he cashed in on the billions of dollars and diverted a substantial amount to MMC and others to build hotels. And now the ordinary Dominicans are paying the price.
And the song for the afternoon now. Oh boy.
Oh Lord, visa gone. Struggle getting real. How we supposed to feel? Government messing up, people paying the price. Time to rise up now, time to make things right. Things are gone, see the pressure upon we face. All the guns we have, see me not a place. But we strong, we go stand up as one. From Dominica to the world, we still go carry on. Trump say no more, visa done. Government fails, all the trust is gone. We're feeling the pain all across the land. Dominica suffering, we need a better plan. Families crying, dreams get put on hold. Story of the youth never fully told. We used to fly, work, try, strive. Now the same small rock, having all we survive. But we can't just ball, can't just complain. Time to build we own, break out of the chain. With the door locked, we still go find the key. Start fixing home, start fixing we. Visa gone, we can't travel no more. Government failures, close up the door. Trump say no, and we're feeling the pain. Time to fix we home, make it right. Peace are gone, but the spirit's still strong. We go turn this earth into freedom song. From the mountain, the ocean shore, Dominica rise, we deserve much more. Youth in the street,
I'm sure the artists will surface because everybody's asking. But I suspect that, just the sound, maybe AI may be involved in that, but we'll find out.
Education and jobs need to be the key. Next generation must be truly free, not just run across.
2:13 is the afternoon time. Hello, talk to me, of course, and we'll ask our favorite guest in a minute what's his thoughts. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Matthias Welty, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you, Lofty. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm holding this train as it were. Say good afternoon to all your listeners here and abroad. And I want to preface my brief statement with you this afternoon by saying that birds of a feather flock together. That is a good old saying that we know somewhere. That what is unfolding in Dominica today should not be taken in isolation or out of context. I say that to say we are witnessing in real time what is happening or unfolding in Venezuela. Yeah, Matt, where the Americans, basically the American government, is applying pressure on the Maduro's regime to basically take off his knees on the people's neck in that country. He has been labeled as a drug dealer, a drug kingpin, and as well there's a bounty on his head where the Americans are concerned. Now, translating that to our case in Dominica, and as well, Maduro is accused of stealing elections, like, for example, the 2018 one. A number of reporters, a number of observers basically said he did not win the election. We have seen as well, Matthias Belgi, the stealing of elections in Dominica as well. We are seeing drugs popping up its head in Dominica in very, very huge quantities. As a matter of fact, I think I heard Lincoln Cobbett and his men said the other day, they made a bust estimated to be in the millions of dollars. And to them, that was the biggest bust ever in Dominica that the police ever made. And so I say all that to say, Matthias Belgi, the situation in Venezuela, where the American government is basically doing what they have to do to remove a dictator on the people's back in Venezuela. Based on what I'm seeing unfolding there with the visa restriction in Dominica against Dominicans now, it is that pressure that is being exerted by the American government on Dominica as well, and on Dominica government. And so now it is we, the people of Dominica, to respond in the affirmative by supporting that action and telling this government that it is time to go. A number of people, namely this brother Philip Martinez, basically has championed or exposing the mishandling of the CBI program in Dominica and other countries. We have this well-known group, this OCCRP grouping of journalists. They came together and they did an intensive investigation on the CBI program region, including Dominica, and they have found out that a number of crooks and criminals are in possession of our passports. Scores of Dominicans, Lennox Linton and others, have been championing the cause where that is concerned as well. So that is no new thing to us in Dominica. And so what is unfolding today, I believe, is when the ordinary start to feel the pinch by they not being able to access America and its services for health reasons and otherwise. Then maybe their eyes will be open to say, hey, I have been sleeping in that slumber state too long, and it is time for me to do something, not just talk, but do something about my situation.
What is the solution that you want to suggest at this time, Lofty, that Dominicans should do, to address the situation?
Matt, the situation calls for action. It calls for people to be very resolute and tell Roosevelt and his gang it's time, and it's time for him to go. Enough is enough. Time for action. This talking thing is helping, but we need to amass. We need to tell this government, hey, you have done enough, and we are not prepared for you to do no more. That is just how I see it. Unless and until that is done, then we'll continue in that perpetual mode of just talking.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. Thank you. It's again the theme for the afternoon. This song, the theme for this afternoon. They say Ross left, you did nothing.
Struggle getting real. USA shut the door. Tell me Government messing up, people paying the price. Time to rise up now, time to make things right. Things are gone, see the pressure upon we face. All the plans we have.
So many foreigners, criminals
From Dominica to the world we
have been given our passport. Silence.
Visa done, government failures. All the trust is gone, we're feeling the pain.
As Lofty just suggested, a number of international journalists investigating and stating the facts. We chose to ignore. Mr. Andy Jolly, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matt.
You're joining the conversation.
You know, it's always good to come by. You know, I always stop by when I can and visit with you. So it's our weekly visit. This is our therapy session. So we're here with the Dominican public. Good afternoon to everybody listening. And we're here celebrating, I guess, the new song, which we shouldn't be celebrating though, because it's actually about us, and it's actually a very sad song. This is almost like one of those funeral songs, you know. So, but there's hope. There's hope. You know. And
but let me just ask you a question to start the conversation. Coming in, are they surprised that we at that stage?
There's no surprise. There's no surprise. I mean, we talked about this about ago. It was coming down the line. If for those of y'all who don't remember, I can probably do a little preface for you. We had a letter that came through sometime earlier before July, right around Carnival, that said, "Hey, guess what? There's a problem. We'd really like you all to fix it." And I remember our prime minister went up and quite a few of the delegates of the U.S. government, Rubio and the like, and they had some discussions. Obviously, our discussions were not as fruitful as they should have been, simply because looks like everybody else got a better part of the deal. I remember there were almost 9 countries up there, somewhere around there. But Matt, this has been coming down for a while, so this is no surprise. And for those of you all who are shocked by the events that just came up, there's more to come in about 3 months, and there's more to come in about 6 months, and
that is if we don't do anything.
No. There's really more to come. Forget about what we do. We're walking down the road of darkness already. So I think there's actually a plan for us in place.
So you don't think this diplomatic note sent yesterday will make a difference?
This has nothing to do with it. This was done a while back. People don't understand how things work. In Dominica, reactive. We're not a very proactive country. If you notice, our prime minister is probably in the Caribbean the least proactive prime minister. Everything happens, and then he comes up and he gives a statement about it or a press conference about it. If you notice, we get no forewarning on everything. We're like sitting ducks in Dominica. Here it is that we expect the government that we elected to keep us safe from harm, probably give us a little advance notice on things, and they're not giving us any advance. But I think what we're worrying about is it's too late.
He did say that it caught him by surprise, though.
Well, Matt, why would that catch him by surprise? I mean, this is something that we talked about on this. If he listens to your show, I talked about restrictions to the United States. I think that was in February, March, May, somewhere around there.
March,
April, somewhere around there. We talked about that. Yeah, somewhere around there. June. That was coming down the pipeline. But Matt, we have a more serious problem I think we're ignoring here.
But they gave him some time, though, Andy, to act. But nothing.
Oh, they gave him more than enough time, because remember that letter was supposed to last only 60 days. And the letter came through, and we've actually given him more than 60 days. I think it's been like almost close to 100 days since the last letter, if you have to look it up carefully. But Matt, we have a more serious problem. This for us was coming down the pipeline, and I can tell you why it came down the pipeline. We have in the Antigua prime minister and the Dominica prime minister, and I don't know if you had floating around the parts of the Caribbean. I think that's what they're being called right now. These two prime ministers are two of the most cocky prime ministers that we have in the Caribbean.
You say cocky?
Well, cocky in the sense that if you bring something to their attention, really and truly gets ignored. and they are very reactive. So basically, what they're doing. Also, they're probably interested in their populace as most of the other prime ministers. The big thing that we have going on that we should probably start watching, and I'm gonna, every time I come on your show, I mean, we're talking about the stuff, but what I like to bring to the table is the stuff that's going to happen down the road. Recognize in Dominica is that I think we get quite a bit of our fuel from Venezuela, if I'm still correct. And this started back then with Chavez, and then it continued with Maduro, Petrocarib. And right now, the U.S. is beginning to clamp down on that entire region. And you've noticed with last caller that you had a little while ago brought up the fact that they seized an oil tanker, and their processes are obviously going to go dim because President Trump wants him out of there. And I'm going to tell you, the majority of Venezuelans also want Maduro out of there. I think where our government, Mr. Skerritt, has taken an opposite stand to just about everything. Maduro needs to go. Because we've noticed that with any influence that the United States puts their hand, for example, Grenada, Panama, those countries have actually flourished after you've gotten the garbage out of government. And probably the same might happen with Dominica as well, too. If we get the garbage out of government, we'll notice that we'll start to flourish. But here's the big problem that we're running into. Our fuel supply comes from that region, mostly. And here it is just think of it, Matt. Remember, we didn't have oil for about a little while, or gasoline for a little while. Think of how much chaos that created, the long gas lines, the fuel lines, the cooking gas. All that stuff comes from South America. Imagine if there's a problem in South America and the U.S. government, maybe we get affected by that. So here we are worrying about passports or not being able to enter the U.S. Matt, we won't even be able to cook our food. So let's here and see where the consequences are going. But our government is so proactive that they're dealing with the stuff that happened today. They're not looking forward ahead and negotiating in advance. If the U.S. government steps into Venezuela and Colombia and all that region down there, there's definitely going to be delays, Matt. Gas lines are going to be long. Our productivity is going to come to a halt. Our cooking gas will go away. Our fuel supply, our energy supply, our electrical power. Remember, we don't have thermal powers yet, right? Geothermal power yet. What we're working off is generators still, which require what? Fuel. So it is that we're really sitting ducks in Dominica, and we're not looking ahead of what's coming. And one of the things that I learned when I was driving a car, never look in front of the car. You have to look ahead, where the car is going. Look 100 feet, 200 feet ahead of the car, because where you're looking is where you will go. And people need to recognize a serious problem. And if this problem happens, Matt, we have no alliance with anybody to help us. If your gas runs out and we have no gasoline in Dominica, if your car cannot run and you cannot get to work and you have no fuel to work with, if the generator at Domlec goes dark and you have no electrical power, if your refrigerator stops working and you cannot call on somebody to help, Matt, who are we going to call on? But here we are. America is doing injustice to us. But there's a bigger plan. And Matt, to tell you the honest truth, the Prime Minister, that's just it. I'm going to put it out there for those of y'all who don't believe it, have not seen it. When we got visa restrictions to Canada...
Some people prefer to say because of the truth.
You mean the truth's on sale with him? Is that what it is? So when we had a problem with Canada, with the visa restrictions that were brought up, oh yes, we're going to send a delegate up there right away. We're going to sort this out. Dominica was one of the only islands, I think, that got issues with the Canadian visa issue. Then we got issues with England. Everybody said, oh my God, we're going to talk to them right away. We didn't see that coming. And now we got slapped with America. And we're like, oh, we didn't see that coming. And I'm like, okay, if it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, then what could it possibly be? We can see the path that we're going down. We have radio station many times, Matt. And one of the things that I'm the biggest component of, we need to get rid of, and I'm going to say it out loud forever, we need to stop selling passports. We need to stop giving our passports to people who do not want to live in Dominica, who do not want to open businesses in Dominica, who do not want to be part of Dominica. If you cannot be one of us, we do not want you in this country.
But that's a troubling issue there, Andy, because somebody brought it to my attention yesterday, and as it relates to, okay, so we get rid of the passport. So just say another government under some other administration, some other party, you need a form of revenue.
But I brought it up several times on the show, and nobody talks about it.
Would you face it out, or would you stop it?
Listen, economic citizenship.
Right.
As I said before, just about every country in the world has some type of program to become an economic citizen. The problem is that Dominica did it different. Antigua did it different. And for those of you all, I want to explain to you what it really is. CBI is citizenship by investment.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what that means. I'm going to break down those words for many people to understand. You become a citizen of the country by investing in the country, meaning that you come here and you decide, I'm going to start a business. People, I'm going to earn income for pay taxes in this country. Or I'm going to come here. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to reside here. I'm going to be part of the citizenship. I'm going to pay taxes here. I'm going to go to church on Sunday here. That's what it was meant to be. What we are doing in Dominica is that we're selling our sovereignty, our passports. We are literally have people out there who are saying, sir, would you like this document? I will give you a cash amount for this document today if you will give it to me. And after that, you do not even have to see me again.
But the players on the
that's a different thing.
But the players on the government side don't like to say we're selling passports, we're selling economic citizenship.
Well, it's not all the players. I think it's just Isaac alone, right? Isn't that right? Man, I believe everybody understands we are selling passports. We are accepting cash for goods.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. This is a transaction, Matt. And not only that, Matt, that transaction is not a secure transaction. And this has been the transaction. This transaction was secure, Matt. And the money was coming. And we could trace the money and to good use. It was going to fund operations in the country perfectly clear. It was going to the people. Matt, but how many times have we seen the press discover discrepancies with this process? How many times have we seen poor investigative work, people who are selling this passport, so now it ends up in the people with the wrong hands? And Matt, you have to understand, the U.S. government has another big bone to pick with Dominica.
You let me know about that after this phone call. Are you there? Yes? Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm there, Matt. Good afternoon, Jolly.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Jolly, I got a couple questions for you. I'll take them in and I can listen to you. Do you believe would you like to see the back of Maduro? Jolly.
Would you like to see the back of Maduro gone? In other words,
well, Maduro has to be gone. I would like to see him gone. I'm going to tell you, most Venezuelans, I have Venezuelans who work for me. I have tons of Venezuelan friends. And this guy has literally suppressed the people, suppressed free speech, and literally has done so much to so many Venezuelan people. He needs to go. Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you? If Maduro is gone, America is going to ease up on Venezuela.
Well, here's the thing. I think is Maduro. If Venezuela is a very rich country by itself, Venezuela has a very large population. I think Venezuela's population is one of the largest in South America. If Maduro is gone and we can get a stable government that is productive down there, I think Venezuela will become one of the biggest nations in the Caribbean.
I think I know where the caller is headed. The caller is maybe basically saying that America is not interested in just Maduro. They're interested in the oil reserves of Venezuela.
Matt, we could say everything America is interested in, but one of the main interests in South America is the drugs. And not only that, you have to understand, people need to know that South America is part of America. Central America is part of America. North America is part of America. Guess what Trump loves? He loves America.
Are you the caller? You still there?
Yeah, I'm there. I got to finish it now. Let me wait. If you're contending that America is not, the oil is not a primary interest, okay? Tell me what does, okay, in Dominica and Antigua, the government have both decided they have to stop the Cuban brigade from coming in, and they have gone to Ghana for medical personnel. Tell me how you tie that with our CIP when they are telling us, don't do it with Cuba, but you can do it with somebody else. How do you tie that with CIP? While I have a problem with CIP and selling of citizenship, the way it is done in Dominica and Antigua, tell me how do you link those two together with America's ultimatum for them? Right? I don't see any in between those two there.
So you're basically saying that the correlation between Venezuela, like say you use China as an example. Not China, Cuba. Cuba as an example. You're saying that.
But we have an embargo against Cuba. Cuba is one of the most oppressed countries in the Caribbean because America has put an embargo on them.
Are you there, caller?
I do not see the justification because they cannot go after Cuba for drugs. They cannot go after Cuba for corruption because Cuba doesn't. You cannot hide in Cuba. Period. Okay, Cuba doesn't want to corrupt people in their country. They have a form of government that we might not approve of, but they are not the corrupt country that you will.
Well, I think the problem the United States may have with Cuba is because they think the governments of the Caribbean, like Antigua, Dominica, maybe enslaving the people from Cuba, and they take some of the money from the people come here and use it for themselves. I think that's what part of the problem.
So how then you say then you don't want Cuba, we don't want the Caribbean to use Cuba as the people for that, but you're telling them go to Ghana and pick up Ghana nurses and doctors in Ghana. So how then do you damn Cuba and say do it instead? Because next month, all Cuban workers are going to cease, okay? And they will have to go to Ghana. Ghanaians are on their route to Dominica and Antigua because that is the ultimatum that has been given by them by the Americans, that they have to stop it. So I do not see how you can tell them, don't do it with Venezuela, but don't do it with Cuba, but do it with Venezuela. Do it with Ghana. Something is wrong with that there.
All right, caller, let's move on to the next caller. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Did they put any food?
Hello, yes, Caller.
Yep.
Caller, you there?
Hello, yes, I'm there. Sorry, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I want to be in this discussion because I believe when Mr. Jolie is on it has inspired me to speak. That is boots in the air. But I want to put my boots on, Dominicans to get ready to stand up for their rights. Right now, Dominicans have to forget everything bad they think of President Trump. Because people to do certain work, nobody else can take their place. Okay? We had a person in politics, or not a person, people in politics, or out of politics too, in what was happening to Dominica. Angelo Arlin and Lennox Linton was two people that take on the passport selling business. Angelo was telling us all what was happening in the far Pacific, in the long distance, and what was to come. Lennox used to fine-tune and break it down that the average man could understand the dollar business. It ended up that Angelo Arlin had to back off
and leave the system. They went to arrest Angelo in because Angelo was educating people about the passport money and what was happening. Lennox Linton, they sent people to kill Lennox Linton at his home. God put his hand, and Lennox didn't work out. But do you know that when God put Lennox in Roseau and he forget something at his home, the person that had to go for it was me. And God still protect me. I went there and I come back. The briefcase had already go in and come out on that day. But what I want to say, Matt, is Lennox calculated every passport that was sold. And Lennox calculated every dollar that it would account to based on the receipt that comes to our parliament in relation to for the passports that is sold. And the amount of money that was registered in Dominica was chicken feed in relation to the real money. And the real money is still outside. We just keep asking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with the passport stuff and the passport? All the money, the passport is outside here. It's not our money, no? Doesn't matter what they buy with it. Doesn't matter what they build with it. It's Dominica money. I don't know if you remember that Lennox Linton said that he would give an individual, a diplomat, to go out a free passport if he had only win election, to go out there and sign our money for us.
So the question to you this morning, because you are. What is the solution going forward? Because everybody is asking, what should we do now that the scandal has been exposed? What is it that we do?
But what we have to do now, our people have to understand that they must put their backs behind Donald Trump and what is happening in the region. They keep talking about we are peaceful nation. Matt, you know what kind of misery send two people with a gun to kill a man? We are peaceful nation. But when people steal in election, and when people in a village sleeping 4 o'clock in the morning, you send military people to shoot them down with tear gas and even live bullets. But we are a peaceful nation.
A zone of peace. All right, we're going to come back, Dominic, after. Thank you, my brother. Boots in the air. $242. Yes, hello, talk to me, huh?
Yeah, just quickly, Matt, I'd rather Jolly than even try to engage Jolly. Not the one China policy, what it entails. Dr. Jolly.
Well, the one China policy is something they came up with. It's a communistic approach, but I don't think we should worry about that one China.
No. Okay. Allow me to correlation. You there with me, Matt?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm here.
Not everybody talking about America and the draconian policies and how it behaves. And if you have diplomatic relations with China, you cannot have it with Taiwan. You're held hostage. So now Trump come with these policies. America is not just Trump in isolation. We're still missing the big picture. These people understand what is happening in the world. Now it's time for the transition, the shift, the change, to make things more strange and more difficult to get through the system because they know. Okay? We talk about Denmark. Oh, what Dominican going and do in Denmark? The same people we sell our passport to are wanted a lot of places in the world. And when they get caught in Denmark, in Canada, in America, in England, if you're a man breeding if you have some hybrid dogs, you're the breeder. And everywhere your dog go and kill somebody, they cannot have it correlated to you, the breeder, man. The people that are investigating are idiots. All the crimes that are being committed by criminals with Dominica passport, man, how can it not implicate Dominica? We want to blame America. We want to blame Trump. I just want to say in closing, if all you think America, England, Italy, America, those countries were bad or are bad, wait for China. All of all, one empire to the other. Or you will see what the Chinese are made of better than the Europeans. Thank you.
All right, thank you. No, I heard the Prime Minister saying just yesterday that even if that happened, he still believes that there's good relations. He has good relations with Trump. Let's listen to him there a minute.
I don't think it will have any impact. I think it will communication. I mean, I will say, all fairness to the Trump administration, we have had, I could say, more communication with the Trump administration than we had the Biden administration. The extent of the contacts and engagement on a regular basis on a number of issues that we're working on. We will not increase in spending by the United States on our national security, provide provision of additional support. So even when U.S. aid came to an end, we continue to support through the U.S. military, the Department of Defense, through Southcom, a number of very important infrastructure and training and material support from the United States government. So the relationship, in my mind, between Dominica and the current Trump administration has been very, very good. Access at the department, at the Treasury, at the U.S. Embassy have been very effective at all levels. And so I don't see it as affecting the relationship in any way. Just that in that case, we believe that they got it wrong. And we're hoping that they recognize that they got it wrong and that they will reverse the decision in respect to this imposition on Dominica and Antigua.
You're asking like England and Canada?
Yeah, they're going to change their mind because everybody else has changed their mind so far, Matt. How many people have put restrictions on us and have changed their mind, Matt? None. Matt, here's the thing. Bless Mr. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt. I'm going to tell you one of his talents is being the best spin doctor ever. Tell not affect anything. And the United States got it wrong. Mr. Skerritt, the United States did not get it wrong. They got it right. We have gotten last 25 years. We've been watching you. We have not gotten it wrong, Matt. It's been right. And look, every week, Matt, something comes up with our Prime Minister. You know, Matt, I'm going to tell you, if a caller can come in here or call on this phone and tell us what's going to happen next week in Dominica, I think we should give them a bonus. We should give them like a Christmas bonus. If you can tell us what's going to come out of the Prime Minister's closet next week, you will get a prize on this show because they have gotten it right. Matt, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt.
But he says the relationship has gotten better.
Matt, it's not gotten better. What he said is the communication.
Free security.
But Matt, it hasn't been good communication. That's what he's not telling you. Matt, you have to understand how America works. Some of the brightest, fastest people working for us right now. I mean, we've seen those guys that President Trump put to work. These guys are geniuses. They're finding the money. They're finding where things are. They're finding the hidden loopholes. And what America has been doing since Mr. Trump stepped in is closing all the loopholes. And my truth, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt and Dominica have been a loophole for a very long time. And I'm going to tell you how far. Wait. Let me get this across to you.
I'm going to make a note to you. I was looking at the international news last night, and it seems that the popularity of Mr. Trump is declining. Would you agree?
Well, Matt,
he of the economy.
Prime ministers, presidents, when they get elected and they start doing things, it changes. But we're not concerned about that. He is the president of the United States, and right now, the most powerful man in the world. And I'm going to tell you, Matt, a lot of times when you clamp down on people, they're not happy and say, you know what, you've been doing this wrong for your whole life, Matt. I'm going to make sure you do it correct. Matt, here's how far back Dominica goes. For many people who don't know, and I'll bring you back to something that I learned because I spent time doing research. Remember, we don't have a professional act in Dominica. Mm-hmm. Our involvement in the United gone all the way back to 9/11. There were actually monies that with certain attorneys in Dominica during 9/11 to the people who planned 9/11. That is how far back this goes. There were through Dominica because, again, keep in mind, Dominica had several offshore banks. We were a loophole. We have been a loophole for the world. We were implicated in several money laundering events. Right now, Matt, even our own prime minister, and this is something you can ask him, having difficulty bringing money back into the country because why? Because the banking system has been tightened up. No more is this money just roving around aimlessly, or we don't know where that amount came from, or we don't know who sent that amount. Everything needs to be accounted for, and if it's not accounted for, it's no longer. We cannot do business as usual like we did before. And Dominica's loophole is being closed slowly, and it's pinning Mr. Skerritt's back against the wall.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there, caller? Good afternoon to you.
Jolly. Men, gentlemen, do you know Skerritt break UN sanction? Do you know that?
What?
Break UN sanction?
He broke UN sanctions. Are US sanctions? How? Tell me.
With the oil, selling oil in the Middle East. Flags. Have you heard that?
I heard. I don't know. If we are in charge of the oil, but I think our flag was involved.
The ship was registered in Dominica. But Matt, all these things have gone on for a very long while. You see, all these things, ships were being labeled in Dominica. They were from other countries. So we've been involved in a lot of things that necessarily have above board. So really and truly, Matt, the loopholes are being closed. And as the loopholes are being closed, Matt,
the chickens are coming home to roost.
Well, I don't think the chickens are coming home to roost yet, because we haven't seen the full implication of what's up there.
There's more to come?
There is more to come. We have to wait and see. Remember, we have a closet that we're emptying. We have to see what comes from the closet. And you know, Matt, the surprising thing, nobody ever asked this question. The prime minister was at a conference and he said, well, somebody talking about my little Toyota, the Toyota that I got. I mean, all man have their thing. I just buy I have a little Toyota, right? And everybody talk. And not only that, the Dominican people didn't even pay for the ride, and everybody make it. That was a gift. Okay, our prime minister is now accepting gifts from who? Did anybody ask the question, sir? Can you tell us exactly who this gift was from, and why did we do something in Dominica to deserve a $92,000 Toyota Parada gift? US, by the way, yes. But Matt, most people should know on this show when I speak in US dollars. What did we do, Matt? What did we do to do? Well, how good Dominica was such a that they gave us a $92,000 Parada free of charge for the Prime Minister of Dominica because he did something so good. Matt, can anybody, if I put a $5,000 wager on it, anybody in the and tell us what Prime Minister did or Dominica did to deserve a $92,000 gift from somebody and who the gift was from. If you can call in right now, we will send you the money, wire you the money. Well, we can't wire money anymore, but we might have to give it to you in cash.
From Dominica, the world we still go carry on. Visa done, government failed, all the trust is gone, we're feeling the pain all across the land. Dominica suffering, we need a better plan.
253, hello, talk to me. Yes. Caller, hello. Nobody there.
We survive, but we can't just burn, can't just complain. Time to build we own, break out of the chain. If the door locked, we still go find the key. Start fixing home, start fixing we can't travel no more. Government failures, close up the door. And we're feeling the pain, time to fix we all, make it right again. Peace are gone, but the spirit's still strong. We go song from the mountain top. to the ocean shore. Dominica rise, we deserve much more. Youth in the streets, looking for a chance. Government play, while the people dance. Big speech, big talk, nothing really changed. Same old stress, just a new exchange. Education and jobs need to be the key. Next generation must be truly free. Not just run abroad, begging for a start. We need a right where we are. Farmers in the valley, fishers on the coast, working every day, but still hungry most. We're rich in the land and the river so clear, but the wealth not reaching the people down here. So we can't just wait for some foreign plan. We must love we own and invest in the land. If the system fails, we go build it back. Put the people first, keep the country on track. Visa gone, we can't travel no more. Government goes up the dot. Trump say no, and we're feeling the pain. Time to fix we all, make it right again. Peace are gone, but the spirit's still strong. We go turn this earth into top to the ocean shore. Dominica rise, we deserve much more. Maybe it's a sign. Time to look inside, time to heal the wounds, time to fix the pride. No more passport games like we sold for sale. When the truth come out, everybody pay the bill. Who love me for real, not just photo op and a campaign speed. Time to stand up, time to speak out, time to show them what we people about. See the youth online, watching every scene, dreaming about a life they never. But we can build tech, we can build art, turn Dominica to a brand new start. Eco culture, music, sea and sun. If we work together, we can really be number one. No more waiting for a visa in hand. Let's build the future right here in Milan. Yeah, visa gone, we can't travel no more. Government failures, close up the door. Trump said no. Feel the strength, time to love we home, make it whole again. The keys are gone, but we still have we voice. We still have we strength, we still have we choice. From the village road to the capital wall, Dominica rise. One people, one call, Dominica. Time to rise, look to the future, open up we eyes. No more failures, let's stand tall for the love of we land. One and all.
But the big question remains, the question remains. The question remains. Andy, yes, of course, yeah, we're talking CBI, but I asked you the question earlier too. Maybe you just glanced over this.
Tell me.
We get rid of the CBI, then what's...
Well, Matt, I've never been a component of the CBI. First of all, the CBI is a bad program. It's selling all warranty.
So just get rid of it.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. We have to have a plan in place. When we come and talk about things on the show, nothing happens overnight.
Right.
So obviously we got to get some smart people together and say, hey, what are we going to do about this? But the objective or the has to be, it needs to go back to be something that would be considered regular and accepted and is profitable to the people and the country of Dominica. The one we have presently is... And the next thing we need to do is come up with ideas as to what we did. Listen, Matt, I have been one of the biggest components on the show. If we had started planting cannabis and gotten rid of the CBI program, Dominica would have been a richer country right now. I'm going to tell you that. We have good land, good. If we had started 2 or 3 water factories in Dominica and started bottling water to send overseas, Matt, we have some of the best in Dominica. If we had started investing in some farm equipment,
what's in the world?
But in the world. I mean, yes, that goes without saying. If we had started investing in some equipment, good agriculture, really feeder roads, really staying put with nature and with what we have here, we would have a more successful country. If we had invested more in our... One of the things that this government has not done, Matt, is invested in the people of Dominica. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know there's going to be 10 callers that said, look, they invested in themselves. Yes, we see that because they've all gotten fat. The rest of us are sitting here watching them. Listen, if we invested in the people of Dominica, Matt, do you know that there's a wondering statistic out there right now that there are more people out of Dominica that are Dominicans than in Dominica? If we had to repatriate all those people and say, look, you can come home, you can own a house, we're going to make it acceptable for you to have a great job, and we're going to make it, this place is going to be a hospitable place for you to live, raise your family, in without fear, and this is your country. If all those people decided to come home tomorrow to something that is better than what's out there right now, at a Dominica tomorrow. Again, why have we not succeeded? Matt, we've had 25 years. And I'm going to repeat this again to you, Matt, selling passports, and we have 2 hotels to show for it. We have the Oasis Hotel in Lale Coco, and we have the Intercontinental Hotel in Portsmouth. You can call and show me what else we have to show that can be said to be supposedly from CBI money right now that is operation tax paying. Well, we don't know if it's tax paying. I think most of these hotels got a huge tax holiday, and most of the Dominicans in Dominica cannot afford them anyway. And I don't think most of the tourists like those hotels anyway, because guess what? Tourists come to Dominica because we market it as the nature island of Dominica. They're looking for a nature experience. They're looking to go out in cabins. They're looking to go out in the forest. They're looking to have fun in the sun, in the sand. They're looking for nature. And guess what we do? We give them nice air-conditioned rooms in 5-star hotels that we supposedly built. So again, we're going in the wrong direction. It just shows that we have an administration where the left hand, right hand. And if we need any more evidence of that, I mean, just again, last week, Matt, when we had the issue with the soil, see how many reactions that we got. The DHTA, Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, put out a letter. And guess what? Denise jumped up and said, you guys are lying. You guys don't have the correct information. We do not want you putting out information without it being verified and it being truthful. And I'm thinking, Matt, wait, the government was supposed to tell us about this. They were not supposed to make us make our own opinion. What we see we don't like. But we didn't even know this was happening until people raise their awareness and bring this to our attention that we are messing with the nature. We are messing with the forest. Our people are canceling their trips to Dominica. Matt, we do not have so much. And I guess, yes, you can say, hey, well, we're building all that right now. We're together. Matt, and I'm thinking to myself, 25 years and we're together? You mean in year 25 we're now starting to work? What happened to year 1, 2, 3, 4? Where did all that money disappear to? What happened? What did we use the money on? And some people say, well, we used the money to build a few houses and do a few. And I could have built those houses for less. I could have gotten this job done for less. People need to realize, Matt, the ideas that we've had, we've just taken the wrong direction. And we're now paying the price. But this is not something that happened today. This is from 20 years ago coming up to today.
But won't you agree, though, that some of the CBI money work, like, for example, and Jungle Bay?
Yes. Okay, we got Jungle Bay, we got Security. But, Matt, tourists actually use those things. That's what the tourists want when they come to Dominica. There. But if you notice, those developments are producing something. They're employing people. They're coming back to society. Okay, yes, you got those 2. Okay, what else? What else we got? 25 years. You got 4 on me.
I got 4.
You got Jungle Bay. You got Secret Bay, which are 2 excellent organizations. And I'm going to tell you, the guests that stay at these both facilities, they absolutely love them. They will come back anytime.
I guess that the approach to that investment is different because the people actually own.
There you go. There's a different approach. But I'm gonna tell you, and the 2. Okay, what else the CBI make for us?
Well, we just got something from our friend in the south.
Who's that?
Capitole.
Well, Capitole, yeah, we have Capitole, and then we have Intercontinental. But Matt, you have to remember, we lost citizenship to Canada or visa. We got visa restrictions. We got visa restrictions to England. We now have visa restrictions to the US. Well, Norway doesn't want any Dominicans in there. I mean, right? They cancel us off, I think, the chart. So what else do we have? Is it worth the pain that Dominicans are suffering with today? Are you a real Matt? Are you a real proud Dominican? Are you going to go out there today when you travel, if we can still travel? That is, Dominican. Is that what you're gonna do? How many Dominicans are actively gonna be proud to say that they're Dominicans when they're on the airplane and because you're going on?
Well, let me ask you a question, Andrew. And somebody's asking the question there, and I suspect is a friend of the government.
Yes.
Why would the head of our country with the largest proven oil reserve be the head of a drug cartel? Wouldn't he focus on smuggling oil instead?
Well, the head of the country is not interested in being the head of the country. In fact, Maduro and Skerrit have very many similarities. If you know, the government has seized several assets of his over the last few years. But here's the problem, Matt. There's been actually an idea that if we can streets with cocaine, fentanyl, and other drugs, then we can create enough problems for the Americans that they will not focus on us, and we will be able to take them over, and we will be able to be the so-called rulers of the Western world. So there is that idea out there. And there is actually an idea that if we can supersede or destroy the American population and the American structure, and even you remember one time there was actually an idea that the US dollar, we were going to try to destroy the US dollar with Bitcoin. Remember that time? There's actually out there. And Maduro actually has that idea. But it's not that way after. That's not what we're talking about. Maduro is a dictator. He's in Central America. There's a lot of chaos that comes from that country.
But the question is, if I have the largest oil reserve, won't I focus on that instead of trying to ship cocaine?
He's focused on that. And you know what he's done with a lot of that money? He's actually used it to his own investments and not the people. And a lot of that oil money, Matt, is very highly regulated.
So why do you think he's involved in the drugs?
Again, there's the idea that if you can overturn the U.S., we can literally go ahead and rule the Western world. But Matt, one of the reasons that many people don't understand why America has a big vested interest in Venezuela is very simply put. And I know everybody goes out there and say oil. We're not interested in the oil. We have plenty of oil. Alaska's full of oil. We get Arabia. Nobody's interested in Venezuela's oil. But one of the big reasons
for now.
Matt, I think we're fine. Alaska has more reserves, I think, than Venezuela.
Really?
I believe so. We can look it up to verify.
I think I'm going to go with Venezuela.
Okay,
now.
well, check it out. We'll do fact check. We'll have somebody fact check for us. But Matt, one of that the U.S. is actually interested in seeing Venezuela progress is, Matt, we've taken on in the U.S. quite a few Venezuelan immigrants or Venezuelan refugees in the U.S. And we've had to produce for all those people. We've had to give status in the U.S. We've had to give them a burden on the U.S. system. And really and truly, if we could get repatriation of Venezuela, it would be to the U.S. It would take away a significant budget that we have for actually taking care of Venezuelan immigrants.
Fact check there. There's more oil in Venezuela than Saudi Arabia.
Than in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Okay, well, good.
But
Alaska.
Alaska? We're doing
we have to do the fact check on Alaska. We own Alaska. America owns Alaska.
But
for most people
you might still need the oil in Venezuela.
Well, we're
talking futuristic there.
Whether we need the oil or not, we don't. This is not the idea that we're going with. People have to understand the way everybody's thinking oil, and whether we use oil or we don't use oil anymore. Nuclear energy. We have Elon Musk, who's doing an amazing job with the new types of energy out there. A lot of people need to realize that oil is a third world country. Most third world countries are dependent on it. So again, we need to kind of take a good look at that and see if that's the right thing or right direction that we're going. But I will tell you, the repatriation of a lot of the Venezuelan immigrants or the Venezuelan refugees back to Venezuela is a really big thing in the United States. I think a lot of people want to see that, and President Trump wants to see that. There's a very high influence. Not only that, a lot of concerns about developing issues in Venezuela. We've seen a lot of Russian influence, a lot of Chinese influence. If you know Panama, and we've noticed that there was a lot of Chinese influence down there, and the Americans went back and they sorted that out because America built the Panama Canal, for a lot of people who don't know, which is a huge canal. And all of us Chinese influence in the Panama Canal than American influence. So again, we need to remember that we do have a president who is American. Venezuela is South America, and that needs to be sorted out. And it will be shortly. It won't be very long.
You sound like a spokesperson for Trump.
Well, but it doesn't really matter. It needs to be. But Matt, take off our color for a little bit. I want a lot of people to start worrying about Dominica. Things from Venezuela that are very important to us in Dominica. We need to start focusing on ourselves. We need to start getting ready for the next stage. We need to stop reacting and start being proactive and prepare for what's coming up. Because Matt, like I said, there's more coming down the pipeline. This is not something that's gonna stop.
You see war?
You remember you played that. You played that.
You see war ahead?
Matt, war is not something that I like, and I don't think President Trump likes war. It's not something that we subscribe to.
But it almost seems inevitable right now.
Well, Matt, we're very diplomatic people. Americans are very, very people to talk to us, and there needs to be an understanding. And what we like is when everybody sticks to what was understood. And right now, Matt, what's happening?
But Mr. Skerritt offered himself as a peacemaker, negotiator in Venezuela.
Mr. Skerritt, Skerritt cannot pick up our garbage in Roseau, okay? Don't even mention his name as anything else.
He said he wanted to be a mediator.
We need to fix the garbage in Roseau first. If Mr. Skerritt can fix the garbage in Roseau, we'll assign him another job after that. But he needs to fix the rubbish that is not being picked up, and he needs to find the person who's in charge of solid waste. If Mr. Skerritt cannot take care of business at his own home, I don't know where we should allow him to help fix, because we're in a mess right here. Why should we have him go focus on the mess in Venezuela? We can't fix the mess in Dominica on a daily basis. We can't fix debauch. We can't fix the light bill. We can't fix the geothermal yet.
The water bill.
We can't fix the road. Matt, you know what? One of my friends is amazing. I went up to Mont Daniel to see my mom. God bless her soul. And, he lives in Castle Comfort as well. And, he says, you know what, Andy, I think going up to Mont Daniel has several holes in it. And the van is just shaking around. He said, you need to go a little bit easy on Shakira, because if Mr. Skerritt have his road looking like that, I mean, what would you expect from Shakira in Castle Comfort? And I said, they're both alike. Birds of a feather flock together.
Let's take a phone call. Hello, talk to me. Sorry about that. Are you there, caller? Yes. Oh boy, are you there, caller?
Yeah, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
Good Andy.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Matt, I was going to say I try to understand Andy, but I think I've understood Andy over all the time he's been on your show, because Andy made some statements earlier on about Trump and how Trump doesn't like war and all kinds of interviews. They are prospered. I don't know which that history there. That is a new history. Because look at the countries that America intervened. Libya, Syria, Afghanistan. Are they prospering? So I don't know. I mean, try to dismiss everything.
But is it to be fair to just your question? The wars are you talking about? Was it on the Donald Trump?
Listen, Matt. You said America.
I think you were speaking specifically to Donald Trump. That's what I'm trying to talk to you about.
But Trump, you said Trump doesn't like war. What's Trump in the Caribbean?
So what is your reference? Because you're saying Trump doesn't like war. Reference to what you're saying? Stand and other countries. I'm asking you, based on what he said, in terms of Trump not liking war, what is your reference?
Hold on. Listen, man. Let me talk to the man.
I want to guide you, just as we go. Let's go.
The countries that America has intervened in, they come out prosperous. He didn't say Trump, You need to explain that, because look at the countries America have intervened in. They went into Libya, look, they took out Gaddafi. What happened to Libya? Was it really prosperity? They went into Panama, take out Noriega. Was it really prosperity? No, on the part about the drugs. The bulk of the drugs in the United States from Mexico, just across the border. And that's a fact. So they talk about Venezuela and drugs and all kind of thing. I mean, come on.
Is that a fact, Andy? That the drugs come from what?
Well, the drug, most of the drugs actually come up the drug pipeline. There's actually a few known drug routes, and they come into Mexico, and then so usually that's how that works. But Mexico doesn't have any cocaine farms or anything like that. Mexico does import a high degree of products and make things like fentanyl and ecstasy, those type of drugs, where those are manufactured drugs. But again, matter. The whole idea is that there's an intervention going on. And I know we're worried about the intervention and what the outcome will be, but I want people to focus on what's going to happen to us at home. I mean, before we talk about Venezuela, Matt,
to your point, Andy, I don't think the leaders of the Caribbean are talking enough.
I don't think the leaders of the Caribbean can talk. I don't think they have enough strength to talk right now, because Matt, you just played earlier the note from, or you mentioned the folks from St. Lucia who got denied visa access.
Yes,
We have to understand that new things are coming about, and they're working we're saying that right now America is literally saying, we want you to stay in your own country and develop your own country. We're trying to limit migration, and we're trying to limit all this access that everybody has. So right now it's stay and work on your own country. Stay and work on your own problems. Stay and deal with your own people. So right now, Matt, America is not going to come to St. Lucia and say, you know what, we're not going to give you. No, they're just going to deny access. The mandate has been sent down as to what people can and can't do. So you have to understand that right now, these things are going to begin to affect us. We're going to have to change. We're probably going to have to change the way we eat. We're going to have to even probably change the way we cook food pretty soon. Or gas from Venezuela. So again, we need to start to think about our own internal survival now, instead of focusing on what happens in Venezuela and should Maduro go. Focus on Maduro. We have Mr. Roosevelt Skerrit and 21 delegates that sit there that have not been looking at our own welfare for the last 25 years. We have people here that have been doing injustices to so many people here. We have a police department that probably is not the best trained. We have people here struggling to eat. We have businesses here that are struggling. Matt, I walked through Roseau today. It's almost the end of the month in December. I drive through Roseau in the day. The place looks empty. How many people have Christmas lights on and it looks like Christmas? People cannot afford an electric bill before like they used to before. You go Matt, it's lit up. You go to Martinique, it's lit up. You go to Marigoland, it's lit up. You go to Guadeloupe, the place is lit up. It looks and it feels like Christmas. So Dominica doesn't feel like Christmas anymore.
Rosa, it's 1 week before Christmas, though.
It's 1 week before Christmas. So when is Christmas coming to Dominica? Nobody's concerned about this. Christmas lights are not up and running, and people are not doing night shopping. People are not purchasing things. Where's our spending power? Where's the money, Matt? Why don't we talk about these things and say, hey, what's happening here? Have the politicians that come and boast that we have more cruise ships than we had last year. And then I say we have more traffic than we had last year. And then we have the politicians that come out and boast and say, look at all the good things we have planned for Dominica and the CBI is doing. And yet we have 6 hotels or 7 hotels that are not finished and 2 after 25 years. We have the politicians that come and say, hey, things are rosy, but yet we're driving around in places like Calibishi and so on, giving out ham and turkey to just the supporters. Again, still, look at the unfairness that we're facing. Matt, did you get your ham and turkey as yet?
No.
You didn't get your Labour ham and turkey. Everybody who hasn't gotten their Labour ham and turkey should go up to the ministry today. Even not. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
Well, you don't eat meat, right?
I don't eat meat.
So you won't get ham.
No, I don't care for ham. I'm thankful you eat it.
Look, work, try, strive, now the same small rock. Having all we survive, but can't just complain. Time to build we own, break out of the chain. Find the key, start fixing home, start fixing we. These are gone, we can't travel no more.
But Andy's right though. I mean, through roads or the Christmas feeling is not there. Not there at all. So something seems unusual, huh?
We're very off this. The Christmas spirit is dead. You know what? I have to say.
The question: who's the Grinch that killed Christmas?
Grinch, take care of the Grinch, please. Christmas lights are just dead. I'm gonna tell you, I have probably seen 1, 2 Christmas lights up, and I think S Smart has done a good job at lights, and I think that's the only company that has Christmas lights up.
No,
Matt, anything else?
You have seen
Christmas. When do I expect to see this?
Well, maybe today.
Let's get the bulbs turned on.
Let's take a phone.
Maybe if we get the geothermal turned on today, we can turn on the Christmas lights. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes, I'll talk to you. Mr. Andy Jolly, I don't know what. He's bold, and I'm bold as him. The only thing I'm not rich, but I'm bold.
Well, good to know. Good to
lot of what Matt wouldn't let me say because he would cut me.
Well, no, I don't want Matt. I want people to hear it, and I want people to understand how I feel. I feel like there's no more Christmas. My mother used to put up lights before, and everybody in the neighborhood used to, and Santa Roma Goodwill used to have lights. And Matt, there's no lights. Why are there no lights? Big, come on. Matt, people can't afford it. They're struggling. Our garbage is not being picked up. Our roads are not being fixed. Stuff needs to happen locally. Mr. Scarrett cannot agree to go work on international. He has local issues. Charity begins at home. And if anybody knows me, says charity begins at home. When he starts fixing his house, he can go fix Maduro's house.
3:22. We have just about right about the 3:30 hour. Okay, hello, talk to me.
Yes, Matt. Only a few seconds. I agree with Mr. Jolly 100% because I just put it on Facebook this morning. That Brown and Rudolph are cocky guys. This is what has happened to Dominica. These leaders are too cocky. They have too much whatever, and these guys are really cocky and stupid. That's what's causing all that.
Matt, I'm going to tell you, I came on your show today, and to tell you the honest truth, I have a lot of rich friends, and you know that, Matt. I hang out in the circles that are better off. And Matt, none of them have given me a Prada for Christmas. And I want to let my rich friends know out there, if you're out there, Andy wants a Prada.
I'm going to just quote it to 123,000 US.
That whatever it is, Matt, who cares about the cost? Remember, I'm not paying for it.
It's a gift.
But the Dominican people didn't pay for this gift. But Matt, the question really has to be, what did we do to earn this gift? Because this is quite a sizable gift. A gift that amount, do you know what my taxes would be on that? It would be through the roof. But I guess Mr. Scarrett doesn't pay taxes either, right? At least not on gifts.
Dominica, suffering, we need a better plan. Families cry, dreams get put on hold. Story of the
It's 3:23. We're wrapping it down. Yes, hello?
Yeah, Mr. Jordan, I just want to make not for a second.
Okay.
I heard on
when you are referring to America, you say we. Like the impression that you're giving me is like you are a part of Trump's camp. When you speak we in defense of what Trump does. But I'm not a supporter of what Skerrit does. I'm not a supporter of Skerrit. But I cannot see me identifying with Trump either. Because I'm saying that to say because when Trump was recently elected and he was sworn in as president, the extreme right politicians from Europe who have been discriminating against black people in Europe, such as in France and many other parts of Europe. And there were no kind of normal politicians in the world that were the White House. I have a problem with that. The thing that he said about shithole back countries, the way he speaks about people who are not of blue eyes, I have that. And we know about his past in terms of corruption. And you spoke about of Venezuela and what he has done with money and how they have captured all of the resources that he has accumulated. This is what you said. But Trump is not of a role model either. I have been following you. I am impressed about many of the things that you have said with Matt, and I'm giving support to many of the things that you have said. But today, I am really not in alignment.
Well,
look,
even the Trump of a long time.
Caller, I've made it clear. I'm a Republican. I own 17 companies today. I think my businesses and the Republican Party is in power. I like tax cuts. I do not like paying a lot of taxes. This is something I identify with Mr. Trump, if you'd like. I have studied Mr. Trump very, very well during my years because I'm a real estate guy. He knows that I love real estate. And Trump loves real estate. And that's where I learned about, Donald Trump, the Don. Caller, I understand. But caller, I want to go back to something real quick, and I think you should focus on that. When Jesus walked the earth, he didn't particularly identify with the people that a lot of people wanted to identify either. So you have to understand that people who change the world, sometimes you might be looked at as being misdirected or misinformed. But you have to understand there's a new direction that you have to take. When Jesus walked the world, they said, Jesus, what are you doing with this pauper? What are you doing with this person? She's a sinner. And remember what Jesus said, Matt? He says, those are the people that I need to be around. The sick people are the ones that need a doctor.
Those without sin.
Exactly. So I want to tell you something, caller. I know you feel that you should identify with people, but I'm sorry. I'm just a regular guy, and I understand how business works. I pay taxes in America. I subscribe to the philosophy. I understand business. I've gone to school over there, and I can tell you what it feels like to live there every day. So I can only give you my experience, and you don't have to be like me. You want to be, but until you walk a day in my shoes, sir, you will. But in truth, I am who I am. Always remember that. And I am still.
And then we have 1 more minute. I suspect next week will come in and give some gift.
This song is very inspiring. I want people to know. And I can only listen, Matt. We should literally get a corner and everybody have a big spliff in their hand or something like that. To play that song loud because it's almost this song is inspiring
all over the city.
The song is depressing and inspiring at the same time. It's an amazing song. I love it. I tell you, you cannot help dance to that type of like a corner block where you have the reggae vibe going on and you just burn a spliff or something like that and have that song played.
All right, Dominica, we're gone. Maybe sometime next week, okay? The song of the day, boy.
These are gone, we can't travel no more. Government failures, close up the door. Trump say no, and we're feeling the pain. Time to fix the home, make it right again. These are gone, but the spirits We go turn this earth into freedom song. From the mountain top to the ocean shore. Dominica rise, we deserve much more. Youth in the streets, look. Government play while the people dance, big speech, big talk. Nothing really changed. Same old stress, just a new exchange. Education and jobs need to be the key. Next generation must be truly free, not just run up for a start. We need opportunity right where we are. Farmers in the valley, fishers on the coast, working every day, but still hungry most. We're rich in the land and the river so clear, but the wealth not reaching the people down. Just wait for some foreign plan. We must love we own and invest in the land. If the system fail, we go build it back. Put the people first, keep the country on track.